Stepping into his manager's office,
So starting up the game this time, I decided to play some piano. After that, it didn't work too well, so I went ahead and just climbed it, and I ran around.
Desperate for answers, he
I
began
apologize for the long waiting time. I know I kept you guys waiting for about, what, about to be 4 days now. Apologize to my 2 subscribers out there.
But alas,
And more importantly, to all the views that I've gotten, I have 17 views. I'm not gonna lie, my channel's doing pretty well.
And so the boss had assigned
Might be one of the big ones soon.
Number 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Obviously, I'm squatting here because trying to input them while jumping is super hard.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the game,
as you can see, I
happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I tried jumping outside of the elevator, but I couldn't get it.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I walked over to the rail, I jumped on it, and I fell off. You can see the bottom, or at least what's under the catwalk here. Pretty cool. And so, since I was stuck here, I had to restart the game. On this start, I got a call.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent.
I understand in the last video I actually got that number wrong. I think I said 130 something else when actually it was 1,000. So, my bad.
To a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I went to the employee lounge. I jumped on a dolly and I jumped through a fence and got stuck. This time, all my boxes were finally here, which always makes me happy to see. This time, I wanted to go to the maintenance section to see if I could get on the other side of the fence.
It was okay. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I was looking around for something I could jump on. I jumped on a few boxes, that didn't work. So then, after a while, I diverted my attention and thought, what if I press the button to go downstairs, and then run away through the door as quickly as possible? And surprisingly, it would force you down anyway. So I restarted the game. This restart, I went through the right. I went through the employee lounge.
It was okay.
And here we are, back here.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section.
This time, I went up a set of boxes on the right side, and then I got onto the pipes. I wandered around the pipes, but I couldn't find anything. I fell into the gated area with the boxes, and I couldn't get back out. So, once again, I had to restart the game.
When Stanley came to a set of 2, yet there was not a single person here either.
At this point, I was debating whether I wanted to get the escape ending or whether I actually wanted to continue with the story. But I accidentally ended up going with the escape ending, but something weird happened.
Stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
What could it mean, he wondered. Desperate for answers, he began turning the room over looking for clues that might unravel the situation, until at last he discovered a keypad behind the boss's desk. But alas, no code. For this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. 2845.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
It seemed that whenever I got close to the doors, the whole screen would turn black. I couldn't go through those doors. And so on my way back, I jumped out some windows. It turns out you can access both these windows from the outside. Pretty cool. And so now, I went ahead and entered the escape ending. My first idea was, I can clip through most of the windows. Can I clip through these? And at my first jump, I went straight through. But the weird thing was, the game just restarted itself. Instead of having me stand down there like I usually do and then I have to restart it, this time it just decided to restart itself. Which makes me wonder, is it something the developers put in there on purpose, knowing that you could actually jump through the window? Who knows? This time, I tried just looking through the window to see if I could see any of the other rooms. I could see a few rooms. There was one on top and one on bottom, and I could see a few lights. I could see through most of the world. However, I couldn't see much. Going to the staircase, I noticed there was a floor below me. So I went ahead and tried to jump over the railing to see if I could get to it. After trying for about 4+ minutes, I couldn't get it. So I just went ahead and went upstairs. I went to a higher level, jumped out the window, and I had a nice view. This time, when I went through the escape route instead of going through the mind control facility.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
I tried jumping out of the metal cage that holds you, however, I really couldn't get out. So I waited for the floor to drop, and once the floor dropped, I immediately turned around, and I found 2 boxes. Obviously, with there being no way out, I had to restart the game. When I was in Stanley Heaven, I was looking at the achievements. I noticed there was an achievement for a speedrun, so I reset the game, and I started my speedrun.
Someone was following Stanley, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this.
However, this speedrun would not go that well. As you'll see, when I got to the end, after everything went dark, I started jumping around out of joy and excitement. However, you'll never guess, I fell over the railing.
and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how...
And even when the giant door rolls down, you still can't see that much. So, with no way out once again, I restarted the game. And on this speedrun, it didn't go as planned either. I'll let you see.
Mind control facility. It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control?
That's right. I jumped on the elevator way too early, and the game didn't even notice me get on. And so, I was stuck in the elevator, and I had no way out. I tried jumping for a few minutes, but it went nowhere. And so, I had to restart the game once again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And with my luck, I went ahead and I gave the speedrun one last try.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom, this mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery... blackness. and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. I'd also appreciate it if you guys could just leave me a like. And I'll leave you with this.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere. Thank you, and have a pleasant day.